Hey there. Summer is officially here. It is hot as heck here in South Florida. And I wanted to show you how I've been transitioning my garden for the summer, because a lot of people decide they don't want to garden at all during the summer. They just close out their beds because it is way too hot. It rains a lot, the monsoons that we get. And so they decide just to cover it up and be done with it. But I like to transition and fill my beds for the summer with things that I really don't have to work hard on. I'm not one of those people that pushes the envelope and tries to grow things that are out of season or that are hard to grow with. I like to grow very easily. I follow permaculture principles. So what I did is I went transitioning all of these beds slowly when it wasn't too hot. So now that we're melting, everything's been established. And I'm going to show you how I went transitioning it. And one of the reasons I do that, and I'll show you around, I don't think I've ever showed you the whole garden. I'll show you around my garden. This is the veggie garden here. But I also have a lot of fruit trees. I wouldn't call it a food forest, but it is an aspiring food forest to have a lot of fruit trees as well. The fruit trees have done really well this year. We have bananas. My husband just a few weeks ago harvested the largest rack of bananas we've ever had, and these are Manzano bananas. They actually taste a little like apple and banana mixed up, and this was a very small tree when we planted. It was one little pup, and it has given us this huge patch. We actually have given a lot of our friends and family pups from this batch, and even put another pup in another part of our house. And if you see, these bananas came out really big, because the longer they're planted, the better they do. We don't fertilize our trees. What we do is whatever cuttings we get, we put right in the middle, and it feeds itself from its own leaves. And we also have it in an area in our property that has a lot of water always. So they do like a lot of water. I know some of my friends who live off grid, what they do is they use their gray water to feed these banana circles. Got some fig trees. Birds really like my fig trees, so I'm always sharing it with the birds, but sharing is caring. The Barbados cherry, I think they're all gone now. We had a bunch of Barbados cherry. This was a very small Barbados cherry I bought years ago. Look how big it is. I got it at Eco Farms. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Eco Farms at Fort Myers. Great cause, and a great place where they're teaching people how to grow in different environments. Missionaries and people who want to do well can go over there, get trained to grow in different environments. Here's a little tiny house my husband and I are building. Actually, he's building. So we're planning on moving up north, and we're going to build a home. But in the meantime, my husband has put this together, and we have a whole series of videos that we're going to be showing in the future of him, how he put it together. The cool thing about this tiny house is that everything has been reclaimed, found. The only thing we really purchased was that big trailer. The rest of the stuff we purchased very cheap. Things that people discarded, like that siding was from a construction project that was left over, so we paid very little for it. Same thing with the windows, and we kind of went to designing it depending on what we were able to find. So it is very cheap. I think all in all, with everything inside, and I'll show you that another day in that larger video, but all in all, we're way under $5,000, and even with the solar panels and everything else. Persimmon, we're still waiting on persimmons here to grow. I don't know. Maybe you guys can comment on how you can get persimmons to grow, because I've had that tree for a couple of years and nada. This is níspero or loquat. Get a lot of these, and we love them. My husband is starting to broaden his eating habits. He was just a bananas and apple kind of a guy. Now he eats pineapples, because the pineapples that we grow here are so sweet, he says. They're not tart. And he also started eating nísperos or loquat. Calls them little yummy grapes. I think they're delicious. Here's a little passion project my husband has. I'm the veggie lady, but he's been wanting to grow shampoo ginger for the longest time, and he is so happy about those. We can't wait to have some shampoo ginger. If you're familiar with shampoo ginger, yeah, you can use it to shampoo. You squeeze that little flower out and you can shampoo. In Hawaii, I know that they use them as lotion. Drop in the comment any other way you use your shampoo ginger. And here are our beds. As always, you start with one bed and then you start adding and adding, and it becomes kind of obsessive. And then you start planting seeds and growing and starts and then you need more beds. So we started, I think this was one of our first beds. We used to have, whoops, there we go. We used to have wood beds, but now we have metal beds because they last a little longer. So in this bed, I still have some broccoli from the last season. It's still going. They're broccolini actually. I'm never again gonna buy or start broccoli. I'm starting broccolini because you keep harvesting and harvesting and harvesting. Heck, we had classes here a few months ago and everybody ate broccoli and we still have broccoli going. My kid comes, gets broccoli, throws it in her pasta like all the time. It is like never ending, and it's because it's broccolini, not broccoli. So broccoli, you get that big head. Broccolini, you continue to harvest, which is my new favorite thing. Still have some carrots in here, and these are some papaya trees that I started from seed. I'll show you how I started those from seed. It was pretty easy. I basically got an organic, papaya and just threw the seeds in a pot. And then I was a communal pot. And then slowly I went separating them. The ones that took, I put in a bigger pot. And now I've cleared an area where I am planting 2 of those. I'm gonna give the rest away to my family and my friends that have wanted papaya trees. Now, during the summer, a lot of people cover their beds like I told you. I like to plant things that will fix the bed a little. And this is one of them. These are cowpeas. Cowpeas are a great way to cover a whole bed because you plant a few seeds, and I'm showing you basically what I did was this was the bed that I had my tomatoes in, and that was a lot of work to pull the tomatoes. I could have continued to harvest more tomatoes and taken care of those tomato plants a little longer, but again, I was transitioning for the summer and I wanted to get a head start because I don't like gardening too much in this heat. 1, I dehydrate, and 2, it activates my immune response. I have an autoimmune disorder, and the sun kind of, messes me up. So I try not to garden in the sun. And so what I did was I pulled all these tomato vines, and in the same spot there, I amended the soil a little. I added some compost. I added some nutrients in there, and then I put these cowpeas in there. And I mean, they took on really quick. Cowpeas are so easy. And what they do, beans like this, is not only do they cover your whole bed, so you don't have an exposed bed, but they also fix the nitrogen. So then, when the next season comes, our big growing season, I can just, plop something in there and that bed is already gonna have plenty of nitrogen. This bed over here, also I had some Seminole spinach that was kind of getting ugly. I've had it for a long time. It was 2 plants that I bought, really small plants years ago, and they went taking over the bed, and it was just way too much Seminole spinach. As you can see, my Lago spinach is already all over the yard. That's that purple one back there. The Lago spinach already takes over my yard, so I wanted to contain my Seminole spinach. I pulled it out. I just pulled a little bit and put it in a planter. And then here I amended the soil. I shout out to my friends at Tree Amigos in Davie. I went and got some really good soil and some really good amendments and amended this bed because it had been neglected for many years. And I planted some radish. And now I actually even threw some bunching onions in there, but I planted some radish, and those things grow really quick. Already ready to, those were, my goodness, it's been not even a month. And I have tons of radish there to eat. One thing that comes back every year that I don't have to replant because I always leave a little bit on the ground is turmeric. And they're such a beautiful, beautiful plant. You see it there. And I use turmeric because it is anti-inflammatory. It's also really pretty. This year I got, for the summer you can grow here, eggplant and zucchini. I got a lot of those. And the one thing that's funny, last year, a little anecdote, last year, see that fence right there? Behind that is our water. We have well water here, and it goes through an aerator, and it has salt to soften it. And my husband emptied out our tank one day, and he emptied out the tank full of salt and basically killed some corn that I had right up against that fence over there. So he killed the soil there. It was I mean, it's incredible what salt will do, right? That's why you can use it as weed eater instead of that other thing that we won't mention that has been associated with certain diseases. But anyway, so he killed that. And then that was last year. And then this year, this is how nature is so crazy. All of a sudden, there is a corn stalk right there. So my husband said, let me see. My husband said it moved from over here. It ran over here away from the salt. But I have one stalk of corn out of nowhere. And this is something I grow every year, and then I grow a lot of it, which is Seminole pumpkin. I started it in this planter, but what's going to happen, and it happens every year, is it comes out. You see it already coming out there, right? It's going to take over this whole area down here. Woo! This whole area of grass here. It'll go everywhere. It'll drive my husband a little crazy because he likes to mow the lawn, and I'm leaving him with less and less lawn every day. But it'll give me a lot of Seminole pumpkin, and you could leave it on the shelf for like a year, and it'll stay, it'll keep. And I also chop it up when I have some time, and you're on a conference call for work and you don't have to show your face so they don't see what you're doing, is I clean up the Seminole pumpkin and I chop it up and I put it in little bags and I put it in the freezer. So then when I'm making soup or stew or anything that I want to put Seminole pumpkin in, I just grab that bag and throw it in and it's ready to go. So that kind of helps me out. Still have some pepper plants. These are regular bell peppers from the last season. They're doing well. I think it's because they're here. They got a little bit more shade, so they're not getting cooked too bad. And back there I have, and in this huge bed here and back there I have the star of my summer crop every year, which are sweet potatoes. I've done several videos on how to start sweet potatoes from slips. Then I plant them in the ground and this is what they look like. Once you start those slips, you can also just grab these and propagate even more. So what I did was I did propagate some more of these and I put them in the other bed. If I had more beds, I would put more sweet potatoes everywhere. They're great cover crops. They do fix the nitrogen in the soil, and they they're delicious and they keep really well. And sweet potatoes for me are better than regular potatoes. One of the reasons I grow sweet potatoes is because you can grow them in the heat. And South Florida's got two climates, hot and hotter, right? I've tried growing regular potatoes. I guess I would have to grow them right in the winter. And in South Florida, you really never know anymore when the winter really is gonna be because we get such short winters. And then they start growing and then it gets hot and then they get mush. And you could see, this is some video of me trying to grow some regular potatoes. I really want to because I like potatoes, but sweet potatoes do just well here. I hope this video has helped you if you're thinking about transitioning your garden. And I wanted to show you around a little because I feel like a lot of people have asked me, what are you doing? This is kind of what I've been doing. I don't do much because I do have a full-time job, but this is definitely something that brings me joy and it brings me health. And I hope it does the same for you. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.